Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're zooming in on a significant shift happening in Spain's defense sector, a determined push to modernize their capabilities. And it goes way beyond just acquiring shiny new equipment. This is about fundamentally rethinking how their personnel learn and adapt.
Exactly. It's a really strategic move. We're looking at a major alliance here between EON Reality, who are leaders in AR and VR for knowledge transfer,
Right.
and the Spanish Ministry of Defense. That includes the Navy, the Air Force, major defense companies like Navantia, Indra.
Pick names.
Yeah, and even universities. Is quite comprehensive.
Okay, so what's the core mission here? What are we really trying to understand about this whole initiative?
At its heart, this deep dive is about understanding how Spain is leveraging, cutting-edge immersive tech and AI to rapidly draw its armed forces up to speed.
Up to speed on the latest defense platforms, right? Across naval, air, land.
Precisely. Think about getting sailors ready for the newest F-110 frigates, or submariners for the S-80 subs, soldiers for those new Dragon vehicles.
And doing it much faster than before.
That's the goal. Accelerated pace is key.
And the timeline for this transformation sounds incredibly swift. We're hearing about potentially cutting training durations drastically, and this idea creating new learning modules in under 80 seconds.
Yeah.
That's almost unbelievable.
It is ambitious, no doubt.
Yeah.
But that speed, both in creating the content and in the learning process itself, that's precisely why this initiative holds such potential.
So to really get it, we need to understand the why first, don't we? What's driving Spain to do this now?
Exactly. Let's look at the context. Spain's making a substantial financial commitment. We're talking a $12.8 billion defense budget, aiming for that 2% GDP target.
Which means a lot of advanced hardware coming online. You mentioned the F-110s, S-80s, Eurofighter upgrades, A400Ms, the VCR 8x8 Dragon vehicles.
Right, a whole new generation of platforms. And here's the challenge, the real crux of the issue. These modern systems are incredibly complex. Training people to operate and maintain them really well using sort of the old traditional methods, it's just very time-consuming. And expensive.
Right, I can imagine. Trying to learn, say, the combat system on a new frigate just from a manual or a classroom.
It's tough. And think about safety-critical things like emergency procedures on a submarine. You can't easily replicate those high-risk scenarios for training on the real thing.
Of course not.
So this gap between the complexity of the new tech and the limits of the old training methods, that's what we're calling the skills chasm.
That makes perfect sense. So it's not just about pushing buttons, but understanding how these systems work together, maybe collaborating with AI, integrating with NATO forces.
Precisely. All that interconnected stuff. It's vital for making the most of that big investment and, fulfilling their strategic roles. And this is where EON Reality's solution comes in.
The AI-driven ecosystem you mentioned, tailored for Spain.
Exactly. It's a multi-part solution.
Okay, break it down for us. What are the main components?
So the foundation is the EON XR platform. Think of it like a secure, scalable digital space.
Right.
Here, they can quickly build and roll out these really photorealistic, interactive 3D training simulations. For all the key kit, F-110, S-80, VCR 8x8, Eurofighter.
So virtual hands-on practice instead of just theory.
Exactly. And the really groundbreaking part is this Spatial AI text-to-XR feature.
Okay, what does that do?
Imagine feeding it Spanish technical manuals or procedures, or even just text prompts in Spanish. And this AI basically builds an interactive virtual training module from that text in under 80 seconds.
Wow, okay, that explains the speed claim. And it means they control the content in Spanish.
Total sovereign control, massive speed, massive customization.
That alone sounds like a game changer. What else is part of this package?
Well, there's the AI Academy for Defense Spanish Maritime and Aerospace Readiness track.
Sounds specific.
It is. It's a focused program designed to build that skilled workforce. It uses those XR simulations we talked about, like operating the F-110's combat system or practicing S-80 dive procedures.
Real practical stuff.
Yeah, combined with AI that personalizes the learning path for each person. The idea is to build practical skills fast, maybe even award Spanish micro-credentials for it.
So adaptive learning, basically. Smart. You mentioned career tools as well.
Yes, the EON Career Guide and Compass. These are AI tools to help personnel figure out their career paths as the military modernizes.
How so?
They can help individuals see, what skills they might need for these new systems and visualize how to get there, maybe moving between roles or even into the defense industry later.
Connecting military skills to industry needs with partners like Navantia and Indra.
Exactly. It's about the whole career life cycle.
Makes sense. Equipping people for the long haul. And the actual training content, the curriculum itself, is that changing too?
Oh, absolutely. The AI-era Spanish military curriculum. And crucially, this isn't just EON Reality dropping off software.
It's collaborative.
Very much so. Developed with Spanish military experts, Navy, Air Force, Army, and those industry partners.
So it's tailored to their specific needs.
Completely.
Yeah.
And it goes beyond just technical skills. It covers integrated systems, management, think complex naval combat systems or aerospace platforms, data analysis, human-machine teaming.
Skills for modern warfare, essentially.
And decision-making relevant to Spain's strategic picture and its NATO role. It's really holistic.
Okay, so a really comprehensive approach. What's the expected payoff? What are the big advantages Spain is hoping to get from all this?
The potential benefits are pretty significant. First off, accelerated fielding of those key platforms.
Meaning getting them operational faster.
Exactly. If you can cut training times by, say, up to 60%, and people master the skills maybe 4 times faster.
Then the crews are ready when the hardware arrives. No lag.
That's the idea. Huge strategic benefit. Then there's enhanced maritime and aerospace capability.
Better trained people means better performance.
Better proficiency on these advanced systems strengthens Spain's hand, whether it's maritime security in the Med or contributing to NATO air policing.
Makes sense. What else?
Superior skill mastery and, importantly, safety. They're aiming for really high qualification rates, over 95%.
And the safety aspect.
Being able to train for hazardous procedures, submarine emergencies, flight issues with zero physical risk, that's invaluable. Plus, they expect knowledge retention to get a serious boost, maybe 75%.
Wow. Zero risk training for high stakes stuff is huge. What about the budget side? All this tech must cost something.
It's an investment, sure, but the potential is for significant lifecycle training cost reductions, maybe up to 65% for these very expensive platforms.
So optimizing that $12.8 billion investment.
Maximizing the impact,
Yeah.
And beyond the money, it's about cultivating AI-ready, interoperable forces.
People comfortable with networked warfare, human-machine teams, fitting seamlessly into NATO and EU structures.
Exactly, which ultimately strengthens Spain's contribution to collective defense, particularly on NATO's southern flank.
It really does sound like a joined-up modernization plan, tech and people together. How's it actually being rolled out? Who's making it happen on the ground?
Well, it hinges on that collaboration we mentioned.
Yeah.
EON Reality is working hand-in-glove with the Ministry of Defense, DGM, the Armaments Directorate,
Okay.
the military training commands, so
Yeah.
the Naval School in Marin, the Air Force Academy in San Javier, Army academies, and those industry partners, Navantia, Indra, Santa Barbara, Airbus, Spain.
So a real coalition across government, military, and industry. Where will the training actually happen? Central hubs or out in the field?
The plan seems flexible and secure, obviously meeting Spanish security standards. It could involve dedicated AI academy centers near key bases.
Makes sense.
Integrating the XR tech into existing military schools, using mobile XR units for deployment flexibility.
Taking the training to the troops.
Yeah, and crucially, developing Spanish language, train the trainer programs, building that internal expertise for the long term.
A sustainable approach. You gave us the overview, but can you give us a couple more concrete examples? How will this spatial AI and XR actually be used for, say, the F-110 crews?
Sure. For the F-110 frigate crews, imagine them mastering the SCUMBA combat system, practicing anti-submarine warfare tactics, running through complex mission scenarios, all in a highly realistic virtual environment.
Getting the reps in safely.
Exactly. For the S-80 submarine guys, they can drill diving procedures, emergency responses, even learn the AIP system, the air-independent propulsion without any risk.
Critical for subs. What about land forces, the VCR 8x8?
Crew training on the digital systems, operating the remote weapon station, and importantly, learning how to fight effectively as part of a networked force using all the C4ISR capabilities.
So individual skills and teamwork.
Both. And for aircraft like the Eurofighter and A400M, it's great for pilots and maintainers, procedural training, handling emergencies, complex maintenance tasks.
Providing that essential hands-on feel in a safe, repeatable way. You hinted there might be other applications too.
Yeah, the potential is quite broad. You could see it used for NH-90 helicopter crews, practicing NATO coordination exercises in shared virtual spaces, training for unmanned systems.
Drones and the like.
Right. And even using augmented reality overlays to guide technicians through maintenance steps out on the actual equipment.
Okay, AR for maintenance support. Interesting.
Lots of possibilities.
This has been a really insightful look. Spain seems to be making a very deliberate, very strategic bet on using this cutting-edge tech to transform defense training.
It really does.
It feels like more than just an upgrade. It's a fundamental shift aiming for faster learning, better capabilities, and ultimately smarter use of their defense investment.
Absolutely. That ability to generate specific training so fast that under 80 seconds figure and potentially speed up mastery by 4 times, that really could change the whole paradigm for military readiness.
It definitely leaves you thinking, doesn't it? If this works for complex defense systems, where else could this kind of AI-driven immersive knowledge transfer be applied? What does it mean for training challenges in, well, almost any complex industry?
That's the big question, isn't it? This Spanish initiative, it might just be offering us all a glimpse into the future of how we develop skills and adapt workforces across the board in a world that's changing faster and faster. A future powered by AI and these immersive tools.